I just think he's playing great, dude.
I agree.
He's flying under the radar. The Steelers are
He's
flying
not
under the
flying under
radar.
the radar. They're not flying under the radar, but I
No
do think
way.
they're balling though. But they're not flying under the radar.
No one's talking about us, which I'm good with. At this point, I'm good with. You.
No one's talking about the Steelers.
No, you know what all the hot topics are right now. I'm not getting into
Jeez,
it.
I'm definitely missing it because
We're the quietest 3-0 team right now.
No,
and I'm good with it. It's us against the world right now.
So we're the quietest 3-0 team. What are the other 3-0 teams right now? You got the Bills.
Bears, but everyone's talking about them because of the Fools thing.
Yes.
So we're the quietest, I'm telling you.
Who else is 3-0 right now?
I don't know. What Ravens and Chiefs are both 2-0. They're going to be talking about them a lot tonight.
Right? What are the Titans right now?
3-0.
Yeah, they're 3-0. No one's talking about the Titans at all. I feel like we're talking about. I feel like we're talking about probably third or fourth behind
Seahawks, Cowboys,
Bills.
Honestly, Josh
Rams.
Allen and the Bills are probably getting
Rams.
more publicity than us right now.
Nah, I feel like Josh Allen is, but it's more like you still trying to convince people. You saw we came up here and after 3 games like this, if that was Ben that performed those 3 games like that, man, you would be up here with a 7 drawn on your head like it's Ash Wednesday, man. You would be over here like going nuts. If they had FC Player of the Week, you would be going nuts.
We're all about wins right here.
I'm just throwing it out there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Josh has gotten some recognition, but still not nowhere near in terms of Buffalo as a whole compared to what the Steelers are getting right now.
I just feel like we're quiet squad right now, and I'm liking it. And I'm liking it. You don't think
this is kind of like that pressure you talked about too?
Huh?
It's kind of like goes with that pressure you were talking
What do
about.
you mean?
Where you said, we got all this pressure on us, man. We got to perform, man, week 1.
No, I think here's the thing. In my opinion,
we got pressure and we under.
No.
I'm confused right now.
I don't think they're talking about us how I would like. So now I'm just reversing it and saying, all right, you're not talking about us. Don't talk about us again because we're going to stay quiet and we're going to stay under the radar and we're going to stack up these wins. That's how it's going to be.
Because see, for me, I'm like, they talk about the Steelers. They're just not dominating the headlines like when it was the Killer Bees where it was just everything. I mean, how they talk about like the Cowboys or where they talk about the Seahawks right now with these highlights all the time. That's how they talked about us with those guys. Whereas now they still talk about us. We're in the top tier of being talked about. We're just not the head of that top tier anymore. We're like mid to bottom of the top tier headlines right now.
I think if anyone's talking about our game, they're talking about Deshaun Watson and the Texans as opposed to us, really. About like, oh, Deshaun doesn't have help, whatever. Steelers,
Steelers are a good team.
They're playing good.
Everyone that sees says the Steelers are a good team. They're 3-0. They're going to be in the mix. Yeah. We talk unless they start doing like the crazy flashy like you're getting from Kansas City.
You're trying to take that chip off my shoulder right now.
Well, I'm just hey, I'm not opposed to people creating chips. I'm just saying outside looking in is not really.
Are we just creating?
You're trying to give us underdog. I'm like, bro, that's not us. We're talked about.
Not underdog, flying under the radar.
It's not under the radar. I look at like a team like Tennessee or Buffalo. That's like under the radar. They're both 3-0 and. Buffalo more so is talked about than Tennessee, but Tennessee, like we sat here and was like, yo, what's the record? What's Titans record again? Because no one's talking about them. Like, let's be real about it.
I don't know.
And we're not as flashy. I feel like we're not as flashy.
I feel like they deserve not to be talked about. I feel like we deserve to be talked about. But like I said, all right, now you're not talking about us. Don't talk about us. Just don't, because we're good with being quiet and we're good with being under the radar. I'm good with that now.
You're funny, man.
We're gonna stake that claim here on out. We're just gonna stack the dubs.
You're stacking. You're taking that claim. I'm over here
stacking the dubs.
We're getting the respect we need right now.
Stacking the
when
dubs
more you
under
can talk about more, man.
I don't know if I want to at this point. You're not talking about us now, so don't let us go 10-0 and still don't put us in the headlines.
This is the thing. They just redid the NFL power ranking and still ranked like 3 or 4 going into this game before the Texans. What are we talking about here? They were the 4th rated team on the NFL.com power ranking. It gets no bigger than that, bro.
Am I just looking at the things that really irk me?
That's got to be it.
I think it's just I'm hanging my hat on Coward.
Let's say, is it Coward? Is it Glazer? Who is it, man? I feel like any Fox Sports guy gets you, bro.
It might be that Coward ranking, but I just feel like
because NFL.com definitely had him at 4 going into this Texans game, and they won. So I think they either stay 4 or even move up potentially even more.
Nah, dude, I had ESPN on last night though, Sports Center and everything.
Yeah,
and it just felt like they just glossed over our game. Every other game was all this other stuff.
This: what like legit highlights did you see that compares from a league standpoint? They would say, okay, this 3rd and 22 right here is nuts. Let's talk about this. This has so much drama. The game yesterday,
I get it. Like, there's drama and all that stuff.
It wasn't like, I mean, the first half, you could say it was some drama, but the second half, it was no drama at all. It was, the Steelers controlled it, and it was just clear cut. Like, it looked like the big person mushing the little person swinging,
and I'm good with it.
But they just can't do it.
And that's what's flying under the radar right now. Good team winning. And you know what? I'm good with that. You guys can have all the drama. I'll take the quiet, good team winning.
Bro, why is it always got to be a narrative? Why can't it just be? It just is. No narrative, bro. They aren't flying under the radar, but they're not overhyped. They don't have the drama, but they not click. It's just good.
I don't know. Maybe there was just so much stuff in the offseason. Like, people were ripping on us, man. People were ripping on us. People were ripping on my takes.
People were talking about Ben and his elbow, man.
And he looks awesome. So people should pay
and
for that.
And they've been saying that.
People should pay for those bad takes.
Gee. People should pay for bad takes. Wow. If this ain't what?
I'd be profitable. I'd be profitable. I think people would owe me more than I owe.
You are funny, man. You are funny. I don't think it's any narrative with it though. I just think that Steelers are a good team. I think they're finding ways to win. Right now, they haven't been pretty. Regardless of the matchup, we can point to prime example Tampa, right? How our game played out versus Denver. It was gritty. It was kind of ugly, but we found a way to win. It's not going to get talked about as much. You see Tom Brady, and they
that game was over before it started.
Right. But you saw how much they lit it up against Denver. Same situation in terms of backup.
We would have done it too.
We say that, but we didn't. So that's the only. So when we talk about like the teams that are getting talked about more, it's because of the fashion in which they're winning. It just looks prettier. Us against the Texans compared to the Ravens against the Texans. How gritty our game was. We said the Texans versus Ravens was closer than it looked.
Yeah.
But it's still, they had the explosive plays. They had the double-digit win, whereas we didn't. For us, it took us taking full control of the second half to get it where we wanted to get it at. But in the first half, like, for a second, it was like, yo, it was about to happen here. You know what I mean? And don't make that face because, you already didn't say. You said, he was tripping a little bit. And then it got better.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like felt good that we were going to come back. I felt good about a comeback.
Right, but I'm just saying with those teams, they haven't had to worry about a comeback. They've been like comfortably in control from start to finish. I think that's the difference right now in terms of why some of those teams are talked about so much more. We just haven't put out one of them performances where you're up 2-3 scores, turn the TV off because we just absolutely dogging them. Like we haven't seen that just yet.
I feel good about our 3-0.
I do too, though.
I really do.
For me, man, especially early in the season like this, I'm more comfortable with the gritty wins because we know as the season progresses, it's only going to get tighter. It's only going to get tougher. But if you're winning big early though, man, it gives you that false sense of confidence. We talked about how the Broncos game, right? We could point out, man, the secondary wasn't doing this well. That wasn't happening well on offense, this and that. But you win, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, it ain't that bad. Luckily here, we respond though, right? Here they responded, they cleaned up some of the things and they continue to get better. With some teams though, you win an ugly game, you feel like, oh man, it's not that bad. And then you face a good team and they expose you on it. So that was the thing. That's why for me, I'm like, I feel good right now. Even with like I said, ugly or not, they're finding ways this is sustainable. This is a good foundation in terms of getting the growing pains out now, getting the kinks out now. You rather do it in September than in November and December.
Yeah, I feel good about it.